legally, he lost this case, all right? But politically, that's what the main issue is at this point. I'm not convinced it's going to hurt him. Right after the verdict came in, Trump immediately sent out fundraiser emails calling himself a political prisoner. His donation website crashed with many attempts to access it. The Biden campaign's trying to capitalize on it, putting out a statement saying the threat Trump poses to our democracy has never been greater, et cetera. Trump was still leading Biden in the polls. About 67% in a PBS poll said it won't change their vote. But now that it's a reality and he's a felon, how does it impact this politically, right? Joining us now is Jason Meister. He's a member of the Trump Advisory Board who believes this verdict helps Trump politically, and David Cay Johnston, an investigative journalist who's written 3 books on the former president, including The Making of Donald Trump. He thinks the conviction hurts Trump. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Jason, let me start with you.
Thank you.
Why do you think it helps?
Look,
with independence in particular.
Yeah, look, I think we have to take a step back, right? We no longer live in a free country. We live under a hostile, occupying regime. Think about this for a second. They arrested Trump 4 times. They charged him 91 times. They indicted him 4 times. They jailed his supporters. They gagged him. They censored him. They tried to remove him from ballots. And now they've convicted him with a Biden judge, a Biden prosecutor, and a Biden jury based on testimony by a convicted felon, a serial perjurer, and a porn star. This is going to have a cataclysmic effect on this political election in 2024 because there are moderate Democrats or moderate Republicans and independents in this country that don't want to live under a hostile, occupying regime.
Look, I agree with you about this case, but when you talk about more broadly, I mean, this is a Justice Department that's currently trying Senator Bob Menendez, a Democrat, right?
Sure.
Currently trying Hunter Biden, the president's son. Has already convicted or is investigating Andrew Gillum, the guy who ran against Ron DeSantis, was charged by this DOJ. C.J. Cox, former Democratic congressman. Karen Carter Peterson, head of the Democratic Party. I mean, the list goes on and on. If it's just this hostile regime,
Sure.
What are they doing prosecuting all these Democrats?
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they have been politically persecuting Donald Trump, and they have to show some level of
even before that?
Well,
I mean, in 2021, 2022?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, this is not a political persecution that started today. It was started with the Russia collusion hoax, which Hillary Clinton concocted out of whole cloth with the Steele dossier that consumed 5 years of our national discourse. Yeah. Then we had in the 2020 election the 51 former intelligence officers who signed letters saying that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian.
Let's focus on today, though. I mean, but today, you think this is going to do you think it's going to galvanize more the right, or do you think it's going to galvanize independents, or both?
I think it's going to galvanize both, because I think that Democrats, moderates, and independents do not want to live under a banana republic.
Okay. David Cay Johnston, what do you make of it?
I think this will be very troublesome for the Republicans, not just now, but in the future. For a half century, Republicans have branded themselves the party of law and order, and they are now, as your guest just did, attacking the legitimacy of our criminal justice system. Donald Trump was tried by a local elected prosecutor, not by Joe Biden. He was convicted by a jury of people who are a well-educated jury and his peers. And now the Republicans have to say, well, are we the party of lawlessness and disorder, or are we going to stand by the principles that Republicans, and I was a registered Republican for 25 years, claim that they are about?
Wait, but let me ask you this, because I was just pushing back on Jason. I mean, look, can't you be law and order and also believe that this prosecution shouldn't have been brought? I mean, look, I don't think this prosecution should have been brought. I talk about my pro-police positions all the time. I don't think this prosecution should have been brought. That doesn't mean he's not technically guilty, but does that mean? Go ahead.
He's not technically guilty. Let's stop with this excuses of thing. He's guilty. He was convicted beyond a reasonable doubt. I have written pieces showing that Donald could have been charged with many other crimes, including criminal tax fraud, since he's twice lost civil tax fraud cases, although not many people know this. For 36 years, I've been documenting how Donald was up to his eyeballs with one of the biggest cocaine traffickers in America and did for him extraordinary favors. and many other offenses, not paying people, hiring illegal aliens, cheating investors.
But let's,
So
again, the same way I
I'm-
forced Jason to come back to today, I'm going to ask you to do the same.
So I think the issue here is that Donald Trump is a convicted felon. The Republicans need to ask themselves if they really believe in law and order, and down ballot candidates, Senate candidates, representative candidates, other offices, including governors, if they tie themselves to Donald Trump, I think they're going to have a problem, because the polling data, when you take it apart, as I've done, shows that a lot of independents, and depending on which poll, roughly 6% of Republicans who support Trump say they will not vote for him if he's a convicted felon.
Final 15 seconds. Let me let Jason respond. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I've gotten hundreds of texts since this verdict from independents, from Democrats that are telling me they voted for Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden. They've never voted for a Republican in a primary, and they're telling me that they're going to vote for Trump.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's a sign. Now, it's anecdotal to me,
Yeah,
but it's still a sign.
possible. Thank you both for coming on the program. You go with the Alito flag? Can we call that the Alito flag now?
You can call the little flag.
All right.
Upside down.
Exactly. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.